ever since growing up. This is becoming a common occurrence in high school athletes. High school athletes struggle with staying in the sports they love, because whether that's coaches, parents, or playing time, or they just simply aren't having fun anymore. I want to inform you on why kids are not, and why athletes quit their sports, and what we as future parents can do to change it. Today I will be going over 3 main points: what is happening across the country, what these athletes struggle with, and what we can do to change it. Derek Thompson, a staff writer for The Atlantic, states that for the first time in 3 decades, the number of kids participating in high school sports has declined, with football declining for its 5th straight year. Now, basketball, baseball, golf, and lacrosse are all consistently losing players. And if you ask Maureen Maine why baseball is losing players, it's because it's boring, but that is not the case. Finance plays a huge part in why kids are quitting sports. Kids with family incomes of $100,000 or more are 2 times as likely to play a team sport than a kid with a family income of $25,000. This is because those kids with the lesser income have to work 1, maybe 2, maybe 3 jobs, and with that in school, they just can't do it. Now, specialization is becoming a lot more common. Now, I have always been close to becoming specialized just in baseball, and because hockey season is long and grueling, and it's not my favorite sport, so I've always had thoughts about quitting it, but I knew staying in it is for the best. Now, parent specialization, a 2015 paper from Harvard concluded that specialization is 1 year of intensive training in one sport. Now, parents are willing to spend lots of money to have their kids play on super teams. Now, we all know the story of a little boy named Alex M. He's moved all over the place in the past 4 years, and his parents have been willing to do this. And with Alex's hard work, this is starting to pay off, but I feel that this is a very risky emotional and financial decision, but it's worked out for him and a lot of other athletes. Now, what do these athletes struggle with? A 2014 study from George Washington University researcher Amanda Visick found that the number 1 reason why kids quit sports is because it's not fun anymore. Now, why? Parents and coaches are starting to micromanage the game. Now, at baseball, when I'm up to bat, a lot of parents in the back, I can hear them talking about trying to give me tips, and because they always think they're right. But I know none of them have put in the time and effort that I have to learn how to swing a baseball bat. Now, a lot of athletes are afraid to make mistakes because they'll be criticized by teammates, coaches, and parents. I've been on both sides of being criticized, and receiving it is not fun when you know what you did wrong, and then someone comes up and tells you, oh, you have to do this, this, and this, and you just, it's old once in a while. Playing time. Playing time is also a huge factor. Doug Samuels writes for the Football Scoop and quotes that 90% of athletes would rather play on a losing team than sit on a winning team. Now, I think this is wrong because, yes, playing is fun, but winning is also fun. My first year of Babe Ruth, I sat the bench a lot, but we won a lot of games. And watching those kids compete, it was just as fun as playing. As a future generation of coaches and parents, what can we do to change our kids from quitting sports? We need to stop making high school sports the end-all be-all. I see too many parents focusing on making their kids the best high school athlete that they can be, and which isn't wrong, but I've seen too many kids be pushed too hard, and that ruins the relationship with the sport and the parent. We need to start respecting the great coaches more. From left to right, that is Brian Fike, me, Jordan Hammer, and Jacob Millett. Now, these 3 coaches have done more for me in 1 year than most of my other coaches have done in 2 to 3 years. Jordan has done the most for me. He's taught me how to be confident in baseball more than any coach I've ever had, and he's the reason I've had my first college visit to BSC. These coaches did it really well. They realized that their sport isn't everyone's favorite, so they never made mandatory practices or games on every weekend. Hockey season, my sophomore and junior year, we had weekends filled with games or practices, and for me, hockey not being my favorite sport, I struggle with this because that's 6 out of 7 days of playing a sport that maybe you aren't fully in love with, and that's a long struggle. Now, today I've gone through what is happening across our country, what these athletes struggle with, and how we as parents can do to change it. Let's be the generation that makes sports fun and competitive again, so our kids don't have to go through what we went through, and don't let that one coach ruin the sport you love since you were little.